Hello again, viewers. Today's story comes to us from subscriber Todd, all the way from America. Todd has been a regular visitor to Thailand for the past 3 years, initially for leisure, but more recently with a specific goal in mind: finding a genuine Thai partner to build a life with, having grown disillusioned with dating back home. He recently met a lovely 22-year-old woman through mutual friends, a former bar worker who quit her job to be with him. Now deeply invested and considering marriage, Todd delves into the complexities of Thai marriage customs and encounters the tradition of sin sot, the bride price. This is the story of how Todd, armed with internet research and a firm set of principles, navigates the delicate negotiations with his girlfriend's mother, who has a significant sum in mind. Get ready for a frank and insightful look into cultural expectations, family dynamics, and one American's determined approach to finding love on his own terms in Thailand. For the past 3 years, Thailand had become a regular fixture in my calendar. I'd been going out there about 3 times a year. At first, it was just for a bit of fun, a break from the usual grind back home. But over the last year or so, my reasons for going had shifted. I'd started actively looking for a good Thai girl to settle down with, someone to build a wife and family with. To be honest, I'd just become completely fed up with Western women. I'd even tried dating some Eastern Europeans, but they seemed to be heading down the same path, if you know what I mean. Anyway, recently I met this little 22-year-old sweetheart. She was a friend of a friend. You see, loads of the lads I work with are married to Thai women, or at least have Thai girlfriends, so it's quite a common thing in our circle. Me? Well, I've probably had 3 or 4 girlfriends over the years back home. And if I'm being brutally honest, I've always cut things off pretty sharpish once they started expecting too much financially. Harsh maybe, but that's just how I've always approached relationships. Now, about my girl, yeah, she did work in a bar for about 5 months, and she'd actually just gone back to it right before we met. See, the plan was for me to meet her about 6 months prior, but things didn't work out. So she had to go back to work to try and pay off her deceased father's debts. Let's be straight. Better her doing that than me, because that wouldn't have happened in a million years. So, when we finally did meet, she quit her job, just like that, and she really did. I'm helping her out now, and we've moved in together. I'm not getting any younger, and I've got a proper feeling about this girl. She might just be the one I finally tie the knot with. So, naturally, I started doing a bit of digging online about Thai marriage customs. And that's when I stumbled across this thing called sin sot. I've read a fair few posts about it on your website and done a bit of research into where it comes from. I figured I'd try and use what I've picked up about Thais and their family culture. Or should I say, some Thais and their family's knack for sniffing out a bit of cash. After a few days of mulling it all over in my head, I decided to bring up the sin sot subject with her now. If it's going to be a deal breaker, then it's better to find out sooner rather than later, before I get too invested, you know. So, I finally plucked up the courage to broach the sin sot subject with my girl. Her initial response, bless her innocent heart, was, "Honey, I think my mom wants 500,000 baht. 500,000 baht. Obviously, her mother hadn't quite grasped the realities of the internet age, or maybe she just thought I was some clueless farang who'd just cough up the cash without a second thought. Of course, my immediate reaction was to ask my girlfriend point blank if her mum was smoking crack or something, and I firmly informed her that there was absolutely no way on God's green earth that was going to happen. Now, before we go any further, you need to understand that I specifically said her mum because, from what my girlfriend has told me, it's definitely her mother who's driving this whole sin-sot issue. Unfortunately, my poor girlfriend is stuck right in the middle of it all. The main problem is that I'm not there in Thailand to talk face to face with the mother, to have a proper man-to-woman conversation about this. And to make matters worse, her mother can't speak nearly enough English to have a meaningful discussion about something as delicate as this over the phone. So, everything is being filtered through my girlfriend, which, as you can imagine, isn't the ideal situation. So, the next night, I had another chat with my girl, hoping she'd had a productive conversation with her mum. When I asked if she'd spoken to her, she said yes, and her reply was a very blunt, "Honey, she not accept." Now, being an American, we're not exactly known for our stellar acceptance skills when someone tries to lay down the law and tell you what you have to do. So, I expressed myself perhaps a little too forcefully, stating in no uncertain terms that I didn't give a damn what her mother would or wouldn't accept, and that it wasn't up to her to decide whether or not we were getting married. My initial offer, delivered with a healthy dose of sarcasm, was that if I was going to recognize her culture of paying the sin-sot, then I'd be more than happy to, as long as her mother paid for round-trip airfare, lodging, in-country travel, and food for my entire family from the States, as well as footing the bill for the wedding ceremony itself. That, I explained, was my culture. She asked, bless her heart, how much does that cost? It was actually quite cute in a slightly exasperating way. After I stopped laughing, I stood my ground. Absolutely no sin-sot would be paid, not even as much as a tiny Thai gold pinky ring for a newborn. If her mother couldn't accept that, then we had a serious problem on our hands. There was a long, tense silence on the other end of the line, and then, finally, she said, "Okay, we get married at the Amphor office. No problem, I love you." She then explained that her main reason for pushing the sin-sot was because she was worried about her mother's financial well-being. We talked about giving her mother 5,000 baht a month as a form of support. I agreed that we could definitely work something out, especially since I'd cut off all financial assistance to her mother a while back. And yes, my girlfriend still stayed with me through all of this. I did, however, make it clear that her mother needed to get off her backside and find some work. She's only 48 and seems to think she can just lie around all day expecting handouts, but that's a whole other can of worms. So the long and short of it is this. As you can see, I've well and truly put this girl to the test, thrown her in the deep end with this whole sin-sot business, and she's come out the other side. No sin-sot paid. End of story. If you're anything like me, maybe you just don't trust that the money will actually go towards a good cause, or maybe the whole concept of essentially buying your wife just goes completely against your principles. Whatever your reasons, if you stand your ground and the girl is genuinely in it for you, not your wallet, then you might just find yourself a good one. My experience, so far at least, suggests that it's possible to navigate these cultural expectations without breaking the bank or your own moral code. Right. So I did a bit more digging into this whole sin-sot thing, trying to understand the logic behind it, if there even is any that makes sense to a Western mind. Apparently, the amount they ask for is supposedly based on a whole load of factors. The family standing in their local community, her age, younger usually means more, whether she's been married before or has kids, her level of education, her perceived beauty, which is pretty subjective, let's be honest, and even her previous work, history, and earning potential. It's like they're trying to put a monetary value on the whole package. Anyway, I sat down with my girl and explained it all to her, pointing out that according to those very criteria, she only really had two things going for her in that list: her beauty, which I definitely agree with, and her young age. Based on that, I told her straight up that even among the wealthiest Thai families, a sin sot of 500,000 baht just wasn't justified. She looked genuinely surprised that I even knew all that background information. It was like she thought I was just some clueless foreigner who wouldn't have a clue about their traditions. Little did she know I'd been doing my homework. So, there you have it. Todd's take on navigating the sin sot tradition in Thailand. What are your thoughts on his approach? Have you had any similar experiences or insights into cultural differences in relationships? Let us know what you think in the comments below. We're always keen to hear your perspectives. If you found Todd's story interesting or thought-provoking, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more stories and insights from different perspectives, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.